Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are tackling one of the most common financial anxieties out there, and that is figuring out your perfect credit card count. I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at our wallets or, constantly checking our credit scores online, just wondering if we're doing this whole credit thing right. Are we missing out on rewards, or are we actually risking our credit score by holding on to way too many accounts? Well, today we're going to break down the exact math and the strategy to figure out exactly how many credit cards you actually need. 3.7. Yep, based on data from Bankrate and recent 2025 reporting from Experian, that is the average number of active credit cards carried by Americans right now. Now, that number has actually declined just a bit from over a decade ago, but 3 to 4, that remains the solid average. When you hear that, you might immediately think to yourself, wow, I have way more than that. Or maybe you're thinking, wait, I only have one. And honestly, your reaction perfectly illustrates the exact problem we're facing. If you look at the financial media, you'll see one expert standing there totally adamant, telling you that 4 cards is a dangerous pile of plastic and an absolute financial trap. But then you look right across the aisle, and another expert is pointing enthusiastically at that exact same pile of cards, telling you it's literally the bare minimum if you want to build an optimized top-tier credit score. So who is actually right here? Well, to find your answer, here's what we're going to cover in our agenda today. Number 1, the perfect number of cards. Number 2, card strategy by income level. Number 3, credit utilization math explained. Number 4, the 5-step card management system. And number 5, 5 signs of credit overextension. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the perfect number of cards. And really, it's about you. Look, the hard truth is there just isn't one correct, universal number that applies to everybody. The experts out there fighting over whether 4 is way too many or way too few, they are completely missing the core point. There is only a correct number for your specific income and your specific financial habits. Before we even start talking about the actual plastic inside your wallet, you absolutely have to anchor yourself to the 2 golden rules of credit: total credit utilization and consistent on-time payments. Just picture utilization like a dial that you desperately want to keep firmly in the green zone. Everything we talk about in this entire explainer is going to come right back to these 2 critical metrics. Because if you can master these, honestly, the actual number of cards matters a whole lot less. Moving right along to section 2, card strategy by income level or the tiered framework. So while credit limits are largely tied to your income and your credit history, a higher income can generally support having more available credit responsibly. But, and this is a huge but, having more cards isn't automatically a good thing, just like having fewer cards isn't automatically a safe thing. A credit card is just a tool in a toolbox, and like any tool, how you use it has to scale with your own personal discipline. Think of this tiered framework kind of like a staircase. If you're on the first tier, meaning you're a credit builder or maybe you're in a lower income season of life, 1 to 2 cards is almost always plenty. You should really focus on a no-fee starter or a secured card just to build up that green payment history bar. Now, if you're in the middle income tier, 2 to 4 cards can actually work beautifully. You might have one for everyday spending, maybe a category card for gas or groceries, and then a solid backup card for emergencies. And finally, if you're up in the higher income tier with a well-established credit history, 4+ cards can be perfectly manageable, but only if you have a system. These are the cards often used to optimize rewards, handle business expenses, or, snag specific lifestyle perks. But you absolutely have to remember this golden rule. Debt load and spending habits override income level every single time. Just let that sink in for a second. Making a high income, it does not grant you immunity from the laws of financial gravity. A massive salary cannot outrun reckless spending habits. At the end of the day, your discipline is the true ceiling on how many cards you can hold, completely regardless of whatever tax bracket you happen to fall into. All right, let's get into section 3, credit utilization math explained. We've talked a lot of theory so far, so let's actually look at the underlying mechanics that make this whole credit scoring system tick. Let's keep this formula as clear and straightforward as possible. Credit utilization is quite simply the percentage of your total available credit that you're actively using at any given time. The math is really straightforward. You just take your current balance and you divide it by your total available credit across all your accounts. And boom, that gives you your utilization percentage. So imagine you just have a single credit card and you put literally all of your monthly expenses on it. Even if you pay it off perfectly every month, your reported balance might be pushing right up against your limit. That puts you at, say, a 60% utilization rate. Visually, you can imagine a chart filling up with a bright warning sign red. You are dangerously high in the red zone there, and lenders, they see that as a major risk indicator, which absolutely drags down your credit score. But watch how a little bit of strategy completely changes the game here. Let's take that exact same dollar amount of spending. You haven't spent a single penny more, but this time you spread it evenly across 3 cards. Because your total available credit has essentially tripled, that exact same spending now only represents a 20% utilization rate. Now things are mostly green. This is huge. Adding a card without adding new spending dramatically lowers your utilization and actively helps boost your credit score. But wait, here is the trap. This little math hack only works if your spending stays exactly the same. If you go out and add a new card, and then the excitement of that shiny new credit limit causes you to increase your spending alongside it, your utilization is going to shoot right back up. Opening new credit while simultaneously inflating your lifestyle, that signals severe risk to lenders, and believe me, it will backfire on you super quickly. And hey, while we're talking about how card counts affect the credit math, we really have to address closing accounts. Please do not rush to close your old unused cards. Why? Well, first off, closing a card shortens your overall credit history timeline, which lenders actually want to see stretched out as long as humanly possible. Second, it reduces your total available credit. That shrinks your denominator and instantly drives your utilization percentage right back up. So yeah, both of those things work directly against your score. Okay, quick pause before we move on to our management system. I want you to drop a comment right below this explainer. How many credit cards do you currently have open? Let's get a poll going down in the comments to see exactly how our viewers compare to that national average of 3 to 4. I'm going to be jumping in there to read and reply to a few of you. All right, back into it with Section 4, the 5-step card management system, where the goal is to never miss a payment. If you're going to hold multiple cards to try and lower your utilization and maximize your perks, you absolutely need a rock-solid operational tool to ensure you never miss a due date. So here is your 5-step checklist. Step 1, list out every single card you have. I'm talking logging the due date, the minimum payment, and the current balance. Step 2, immediately set up autopay for at least the minimum payment on every single card. This entirely eliminates the risk of a missed payment dinging your score. Step 3, pick one primary card for your active daily spending so tracking it all isn't just a giant guessing game. Step 4, use one centralized tracking tool. This could be an app, a spreadsheet, or even the free tracking template that we've linked directly below in the description. And finally, Step 5, review this whole system monthly. You aren't just doing this to pay your bills, you're doing it to visually confirm that your utilization dial is staying firmly parked in that healthy green range. And that brings us to Section 5, 5 signs of credit overextension, also known as the red flags. Look, because even with a great system in place, life happens, right? It is absolutely crucial to establish clear boundaries and recognize the warning signs that indicate things might be slipping out of your control. I'm going to run through these red flags real quick, and I want you to see if any of them resonate. 1, you're honestly unsure how many open cards you currently have. 2, you've had a missed or a late payment at literally any point in the last 6 months. 3, you are actively using one credit card to pay the bill of another card, which is a super dangerous circular debt cycle. 4, your total combined balances are trending upward and growing month over month rather than shrinking. Or 5, you feel actively anxious or you just completely avoid checking your credit card statements altogether. Listen. If you mentally checked yes to any of those bullet points, just take a deep breath, okay? The solution is actually really simple. Your next move is absolutely not opening a new card or trying to chase some flashy new sign-up bonus. Your solution is hitting the pause button, completely halting new applications, and going right back to the foundational 5-step tracking system we just covered to help you regain control. I do also want to provide just a really quick note here. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes, and it is not personalized financial counseling. If you find yourself hitting those red flags over and over, and you're really feeling overwhelmed by debt, there is absolutely no shame in reaching out for help. Consider speaking with a certified nonprofit credit counselor who can actually help you chart a specialized path forward. Which brings us perfectly to our final takeaway today. The right number is the one your income and discipline can actually support without late payments and without rising balances. There is no universal answer out there, but there is an answer that works for your life right now. So let me leave you with this final provocative question. If you were forced to cut your total number of credit cards in half tomorrow, would your financial life completely collapse, or would you actually feel a massive sense of relief? Take charge of your wallet this week, and we'll see you in the next explainer.